Okay, so today we're going to use one type of paintbrush to create all these different types of marks. So I'm going to take my paintbrush, wet it a little bit, put the paint on the hairs of my brush, and barely touching the paper, create thin lines. Now I'm going to create thick lines, pressing harder. And look, it kind of gives that scratchy look when you start to run out of paint. Dots, I can bounce my paintbrush very lightly, or I can press harder, create different size dots. Now I'm gonna flip my paintbrush over, dip it into the paint, maybe try to drag my paintbrush. I could even lay down a bunch of paint and then carve into that using the handle. Now let's try some wavy lines. If I press hard, I create these thick lines. I'm just grabbing some water. I can also press lighter, creating a thinner, more detailed wave. Dash lines, I can just bounce my paintbrush or drag my paintbrush. Crosshatch, I'm going to use horizontal, vertical, horizontal, and diagonal lines. And last but not least, a zigzag. The lighter I press, the thinner. The harder I press, the thicker the line. And that's all the different marks, some of the different marks you can make with just one paintbrush. Okay, let's do mark making part 2. For this, we're going to need different types of mark making tools in order to begin. So I have a large paintbrush, medium, small. I have a fan brush, a bottle cap, any old gift card. You could use a scraping tool or a craft stick, and a little piece of bubble wrap, and we're good to go. So let's begin. I'm gonna take my large paintbrush. I'm gonna try different things, pressing hard, pressing thin, bouncing, and I'm gonna continue doing that with each of my brushes, understanding how each of the tools work. The fan brush makes very interesting marks. The card also, if you just scrape it, I'm using just a old lid. You can make these very nice lines, or you can drag it. The bottle cap, of course, there's so many sizes that would make interesting designs. The bubble wrap, I'm just going to use the large paintbrush on the bubbly side that pops up, and just try not to move it once you've placed it on the paper, and lift up. And then last but not least, splatter paint. So just make sure you get enough paint on your brush, and I just kind of hit it on the top here, so it doesn't go everywhere, but still creates that effect. All right, your turn.